Well, hello everyone, and welcome. I hope you enjoyed that little flyover video of Brussels. Very warm welcome to you in another edition of Inside Tauck. My name is Dustin Smith, and I work here on the marketing team at Tauck. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today from wherever you happen to be logging in from. We've got a very fun and very timely event for you all today with one of our great friends and partners in Brussels, Maxime Pliester. Max is the owner of Concept Chocolate, a trendy shop specializing in high quality and sustainable chocolate, and Max will go into that a lot today. His tour will emulate a Tauck experience with behind the scenes access and some great education. And we hope it inspires some Valentine's Day creativity of your own, which, if you've forgotten, is this weekend. We also have the privilege today of being joined by Michelle Molnar, who is our Senior Product Manager and River Cruising Specialist. She will introduce Max in just a bit. But I just wanted to go over a couple of housekeeping things before that. For those of you who are unaware of this platform, this Inside Tauck is something we created last year as a way to connect, share the world's great destinations, cultural sites, expert knowledge from Tauck partners such as Max, and also internal Tauck directors on our team here. We designed the events to provide some closer insight into our wonderful travel experiences and to hopefully inspire future travel, which we are really hoping is right around the corner with all the great good news in the news right now. Before we get started, just a couple things. You are all on mute. If you do have questions, please type them into the chat and I will be looking at that throughout. We will have time at the end with Max for some Q&A. Max will speak for about 30 to 45 minutes and then we'll come together for 15 minutes of questions. We're also streaming today's session live on Facebook, so if you do have a technical issue or you want to invite a friend last minute, please direct them to Tauck's Facebook page and you will find us there. So without further ado, I want to turn this over now to Michelle Molnar to say a quick bit about Max and how he works with us on the rivers. Go ahead, Michelle.
Hi, Dustin. Thank you so much. I'm Michelle Molnar, and I work with our river cruises. That's actually a picture there, Dustin, showing of me making pralines. I love chocolate, and I love the experience that we're going to be able to share with you today. We've been out cruises in Belgium since 2006. And about 6 years ago, we did what we call an evergreen to this particular tour that goes from Holland and Belgium. And what we do is we review the guest comments and we strive to incorporate them to make visit and also to keep the tour fresh. When we would visit Brussels, we would visit the Grand Place and the Galeries Royale, and our guests would see all these beautiful chocolates behind the windows, but they wanted more. They wanted an experience. They wanted to meet some locals. They want to see how it was made. They wanted the behind the scenes. And I was delighted to find Max. The guests that take this tour love their visits. It's one of our highlighted experiences, and it's exclusive to us. We are the only U.S. tour company and river cruise company that's visiting Concept Chocolates. When I designed our new Yuletide Spirit tour that will start operations this December, it's a holiday Winterfest tour that is simply amazing. And we knew we had to include this visit when we visited Brussels at Concept Chocolates. So we wanted to provide you a taste of this special experience that we share with our guests. And I would like now to introduce you to my friend Max, who is a chocolatier and owner at Concept Chocolates in Brussels, Belgium.
Hi, can everyone hear me well? I hope so. I'm super glad to welcome here you in Brussels, Belgium. Dustin, thanks for the introduction, and Michelle, I miss not seeing you here in Brussels due to the health situation. But yeah, today we're going to focus on good thing on Belgian chocolate. So welcome. I'm Maxime, but everybody can call me Max. It's much easier, and I'm the owner and chocolatier here at Concept Chocolate. So to help you a little bit to see where we are located on the east side of Brussels, not that far from the European Commission and Parliament, so not that far from the airport, from the Atomium. It's a quite nice, quiet area, yeah, except for the bus now. You can have a look a little bit about the residential area that where we are. And just next to me, you've got the entrance. So it's quite a specific and authentic place. with the big black door. Yeah, stop talking, come with me. So you see that first you've got the street, you've got that long corridor till the entrance. Of course, hopefully we still have some local guests to taste and to buy our nice chocolates. And one of the customers just crossing us. Merci, monsieur, au revoir. Here on the walls, you've got so nice picture of the cocoa forest, the flower, the pots, the farmers, and everything related to our production. So before going inside, I will explain you a little bit what we are specialized for. So of course, chocolates, but we choose like 10 years ago to focus on something different. So we work a lot with the event sector, hotels, how can I say, like companies who wants to promote their brand, their products through chocolate. So we make our own molds, 2D, 3D molds that we make just here behind, and that's my responsibility to do. To have a nice camera in chocolate for special events. It can be a logo, and that's really our specialty. Of course, with the COVID, it was not really a hit last year. And the second one is to welcome people all over around the world, to invite them inside to get an experience about chocolate and cocoa with a lot of tasting. It can be beer and chocolate, wine and chocolate. And it's something very amazing because it's part of our tradition, gastronomic tradition. But of course, last year was not really a hit. So we say what we're gonna do, we're gonna focus more on local sales, to invent more products, to communicate more with Brussels. And we get an idea about launching something which is still part of the confectionery world. It's ice cream. And now it's gonna be, you're gonna be the first customers to see our new little truck. So it's gonna be for this summer. We're gonna focus again on locals by selling our ice cream. And here you've got our nice little retro ice cream truck. So you see, it's not ready yet, but at least you're gonna first to see that. And I hope that by the coming months and in a few months, you will be able to come and to try our nice ice cream. So here, just behind me, you've got the entrance of the factory. So follow me. So welcome inside. So now I feel a bit better because outside is very, very cold. In degrees Celsius, we have -8. So I think in Fahrenheit, it should be something around 14 degrees Fahrenheit, if I'm not too bad. You can see other little shop. So I make myself a little bit more comfortable. So here you have an overview of our shop and everything you can see just behind me. So yeah, that's the place, that's where everything happens. So you can see it's like a big building. It's 300 square meters and we've got 2 floors. You've got first the little shop. Behind me, you've got the spaces for visits and workshop. And just behind the window, you've got the production. So it's 3 different kind of parts. Everything you're seeing now, it's part of the tour experience that you can have by doing that river cruise through Belgium. And just behind me, that's the places where you can sit, take time, enjoy, and learn about cocoa and everything. Taste, of course, the couverture chocolate, the cocoa beans, and of course, the delicious Belgian pralines. So now come with me. So this is a special insideTauck table, especially for you. Unfortunately, today you will not be able to taste it. So I will do that job for you. So thank you very much. Of course, I will not taste everything, but at least I wanted to show you very important things. So of course, everything you are saying now, you will be able to see that during your experience here at the factory with more details, of course. So what do we have here? We've got where it starts. That's the cocoa pot. Of course, you cannot find that in Belgium, but more in the origin country. And we work a lot with Ivory Coast for Africa, Mexico, more for Central and South America, and with Vietnam in Asia. This is all the process that specific farmers are processing to help us to get our nice cocoa and our future chocolate. So here you've got the beans. So you see that's a raw bean. And when you crack it up, inside you got the shelf that we will not use. And this is our gold, our brown gold. This is the cocoa beans. Of course, you can eat that. It's quite bitter. And this is what we're going to use to make our delicious chocolate. Of course, it's not that easy. There is a long and deep process for that to reach to that nice nips that you can see here, which is called cocoa nips. It can be cocoa mass, and this is a percentage of 100%. So it's quite bitter. Okay. So for us, it's super important to get very good and sustainable and ethical raw materials. That's why we decided 2 years ago to work with a specific label. And I'm proud to show you the little nice certificate that we received, that we are proud to be member of Cacao Trace. And Cacao Trace is a label that focuses on quality, on sustainable, on eco-friendly aspects. And to introduce you and to show you a little bit more easier that program, I wanted to ask to Dustin if he can help me by launching that little video about our partner in Vietnam.
Dân, tôi rất hãnh diện về cái vấn đề này. Trước tiên là trồng tốt thì tăng được thu nhập cho gia đình. Cái thứ hai thì đối với mình cũng đóng góp một phần nào cái cacao cho xã hội, mình được hưởng cái sản phẩm của mình.
Vietnam is a dynamic agricultural country, blessed with good climate conditions and fertile soils that offer good food production to the Vietnamese. Recently, the government decided to stimulate cocoa production, mostly grown in the Mekong Delta. It's here, at Ben Tree, in the heart of the Delta, that Puratos started Cacao Trace, a sustainable cocoa program and certification. In the Cocoa Demonstration Centre, farmers are developing their skills by following trainings, learning best practices, conducting applied research in order to improve the productivity of their plantation. Expert agronomists from the centre support the owners on their own plantation, explaining to them different techniques to increase the quality of their cocoa, which will result in higher benefits.
Cacao thấy từ ngày hướng dẫn và kỹ thuật về chăm sóc cây nó có phát triển và chất lượng hơn lúc trước.
That's the typical way farmers bring their cocoa pods to our collection centre. The pods need to be clean and ripped. They are weighed and carefully controlled to reach our requested quality standards. A fair price with a premium is paid to reward these efforts.
Thì nếu mà công ty đòi hỏi cái chất lượng của trái á, thì cái giá cả nó thì nó cao thì phải cái trái nó phải có chất lượng. Còn nếu mà trái nó kém chất lượng thì cái giá nó không có. Thì nói chung về cái chất lượng, cái sản phẩm mình làm ra chất lượng thì nó đạt yêu cầu của khách hàng.
Now the time has come to process the fruits. We start by breaking the pods, which will release the beans covered with their white pulp. This goes into wooden boxes for fermentation.
Ở đây chúng tôi kiểm soát rất là nghiêm ngặt quy trình lên men ở tất cả các khâu, từ khâu mua trái, trữ trái, đập trái, lên men, phơi hạt, làm sạch hạt và trữ hạt. Mục đích chính là để sản xuất ra cái hạt cacao lên men đạt yêu cầu.
Last but not least, by doing a cut test, the dried cocoa beans are carefully controlled by our local quality team. Beyond quality, traceability is another requirement that we follow. Each export bag is tagged with a unique lot number to track back to the farmer's deliveries. Now the beans are ready to be transformed into chocolate. It's the final step to obtain our Belcolard Origins Vietnam. Our chocolate is manufactured respecting the traditional Belgian production method of mixing, grinding and conching, resulting in superior taste and quality. Belcolard Origins Vietnam is then analysed by our chocolate team experts to describe this distinctive chocolate. Thanks to its specific bouquet of flavours, this new chocolate is enriching the Belcolard Origins range. The unique taste and aromas will inspire all over the world for the delight of everyone, even the farmers themselves.
So everything you saw in the video is what's happening in the origin country. That was one example about Vietnam, but it's exactly the same with that program in Mexico, in Papua New Guinea, and in Ivory Coast. So you can see this is our little drops, or 3-gram drops of raw materials. That's the chocolate that arrives here. That's our recipe. So in the video you saw about Vietnam, but this is our own mix. So it's a mix with some Mexican chocolate, Ivory Coast chocolate, and Vietnam to make our own identity. So this is something that, of course, you will be able to try. But for you, I will do that. So when you take a chocolate, it's important to use all your sense. So the first one, and it can be quite funny, it's the hear, so the sounds. So when you have chocolate, you have to hear that snap sound. So I will try to do that. It should clack. It's very important because it means that it was done with cocoa butter and not with other kind of fat. Cocoa butter gives the crackness, the crispiness, and of course that shiny taste. Here it's not shiny because it was not processed yet. This is what we receive that we will temper, work, use to reach to a nice shiny tablet. So these are the Vietnam one that you saw in the video. And you can see here, of course, when you take a nice tablet, it's cracking, it's very shiny. Up. And for the tasting, it's very important to take always small and tiny bits of chocolate, to smell it first, to help your brain to help him what's going to happen. The tasting is very important. So already with the smell, you can already see that you've got some flower and some how can I say, like forest notes. And after, it's important to put it on your tongue and to let it melt. So don't bite in chocolate, otherwise you break the aromas, you break the flavors. It's very important to take time because here we are not eating, we are tasting. So I take a small bit and I will do that. So it's live, huh? But first, it's very delicious. And when you let it melt, at that moment, you really have these all flavors coming up. I can feel some agrumes, some or you say like some pomelo hints. It's bitter, but thanks to the sugar, you've got that good balance. And we are talking about 73% dark chocolate. So what does it mean? It means that when you buy chocolate and you've got a percentage on the paper and on the ingredients, the percentage for dark chocolate means the cocoa content. So it's a mix between the cocoa butter, and cocoa powder. So if you've got a chocolate 73%, it's 70% of these two together, nothing else. So you don't have to add milk, other kind of fat. It's only that mix, and that's our own mix. And of course, the rest, it's sugar. So it can be refined sugar, it can be cane sugar. At the moment, we use that one because it's coming from Belgium. And the mix of 3 ingredients make our dark chocolate. Then you've got the second family. It's called the milk chocolate. And in this one, it's exactly the same process, except that we will just add some milk powder, always powder, because with liquid, we cannot mix it pretty well. So we have to use something dry. So it's the whole milk powder. And you see it again, very shiny and very nice. I saw under some question about what difference you have between all that pots and colors. It's exactly as with wine. It's one kind of fruit. So for example, if you work in Ivory Coast in Africa, you've got more yellow pots, and it's the type of fruit. It's called forastero. Then if you move more in America, Central America, you can find Criollo, you can find Trinitario, Nacional in Ecuador. And it's the same as with wine. We work with Cabernet, with Chardonnay, with Pinot Noir. With the chocolate, it's exactly the same. So a dark chocolate is not just a dark chocolate. You have to look behind that. So the one I just stated before, it's a Trinitario origin, coming from Vietnam, and as well in a specific region of Mekong, what you saw on the video. Of course, you can do origin chocolates with many countries. So you can see here, that's the range that we have. We've got from Costa Rica, from Vanuatu, Venezuela. We've got from Uganda, and always with different kind of percentage. We can start at 64% and we finish at 100%. But of course, 100%, you don't have any sugar in it, so it's not chocolate. Because to call chocolate, you at least have to have some sugar. So 99% can be chocolate because you've got 1% of sugar. So now let's move a little bit. We will show you more prepared and well manufactured chocolates. So here you've got nice tablets. This one is with Piemonte hazelnuts from Italy, the best hazelnuts in the world. It's, wow, the best flavor you can find. It's really unbelievable. One hazelnuts have the power of 15 or 20 hazelnuts from Turkey, for example, or even from France. This one is another one. It's a totally new tablet that we designed last week. It's made with pumpkin seeds, but it's caramelized with honey. And there you've got some candied orange, of course, on a dark chocolate tablet, and it's unbelievable. Then you've got, that's our little hit. Maybe you can recognize that design. It's a well-known Swiss brand, Toblerone, and we decided to call it "This is not a Toblerone," in homage to Magritte. Ceci n'est pas une pipe. So it's like a Belgian kind of joke and humor. And you can see that inside of this, you've got milk chocolates and some really nice hints and tiny things of nougat. So it's honey with some eggs, flour. It's a very unbelievable taste. Here you've got very nice candied lemon. So you can see here that inside of this, you've got the candied lemon. So it's always the peel. We use the peel that we cook in sugar to make it more soft and sweet. We lose a little bit the acidity. And thanks to the covering with dark chocolate, you've got an amazing contrast and a very good, unbelievable taste experience. Here is to show you one example that we did. So before entering, I told you that we were specialized in personalized chocolate. We've got one client, Nikon. Max, can you come to the office? Yeah, we've got a new one. And we want to promote that to all our bloggers on social media. And they give me that one, a old one. And we created this one in chocolate. So this is 1% chocolate. So you can see already all the details at the back and at the front. Of course, this one is a little bit old, so that's why it's a little bit white on top. But of course, it's not working, but you can eat it. Then you've got why Belgium is famous for. It's our delicious pralines. So what's a praline? It's a chocolate shelf molded. We can have different kind of design. That's a shelf of hazelnuts. You can have some Maya design. You can do whatever you want. And that's our specialty to do that here internally. You can see the difference with the others. The others are plain chocolates. And this one, you really can see that inside you've got that nice shelf and inside you got the filling. And this one is the most famous one in Belgium. It's praliné. So praliné, what is a praliné? It's a mixture of hazelnuts and sugar that we caramelize together. We mix it with very good mixer. And then we had our own recipe, but that's a total secret, of dark milk, white chocolate. And that makes something very smooth, very deep in hazelnuts. It's unbelievable. I cannot resist. Delicious. Let's move to our last creations. That was last week. This is what we called in French pâte de fruits. So pâte de fruits, it's like a fruit paste. It's a mix of sugar, fruits, and some gelatin. And this one is quite special because it's pumpkin based. If I'm right, yeah. So it's very earthy taste, very autumnal with that kind of quite cold weather. It's very nice. And the other range are made with red pepper. We make with lemongrass, and we make others with pineapple. So we try always to have different kind of flavors. And this is the last creation. I know that in US you can already find that, but in Belgium it's quite new. It's our hot chocolate bomb. So in fact, you just need a nice bowl like this, a mug, a full one, of course, a spoon, and you put that inside. And inside of this, you see it was already breaking. You've got that nice marshmallow. And when you mix hot milk, marshmallow, and very nice good chocolates, you've got something unbelievable to start the day at breakfast or for later. So now it's a bit over about that tasting. And Michelle told me, Max, do you have an idea? Because in 3 days, we've got St. Valentine's Day. Can you do something special for us? And then I asked Fikry, which is the master chef here, chocolatier at that place, to build something special for you. So now, please come with me. Of course, before entering in the production, you need to have some equipment. I will have a nice apron and something to protect from hair, which is not super sexy, but useful. So here, especially with that health situation, we just passed the new label, which is the Brussels safety label. So we really focus and really take care about that situation by making all the disinfection, to have only a few people at once. So we really focused on that kind of things. We always wear a mask, not today, but all my staff is wearing a mask, so don't worry. And of course, when you're close to products, we wear that kind of outfit. So it's like this. So please come with me. So of course, this is something exclusive for you, because normally at that part, it's only for the staff working. So of course, you've got that nice big window where you will be able to see the staff working. But today, thanks to that virtual event, we will be able to come inside. So please come with me. You see that we are really like a small scale places. So here we've got 4 people working. You've got the chef and 2, 3 chocolatiers, but everything it's handmade. So in front of you, you've got our machines, but they are like totally like craft machine that help us to temper and to get the best temperature with our chocolate. So this one is the dark one, and we finish with our milk chocolate. So hope you cannot smell, but I can assure you that it smells very, very well. So here you can see the chef, the master chef, Fikry, was in charge of all the production with a team of, at the moment, of 3. You've got the cameraman today with Roman, you've got Yassi, and you've got as well one person to help you for all the packaging, because packaging is very important in chocolate. So today, what are we going to do? Something about Valentine's Day. So Valentine's Day in Belgium, it's heart, chocolate, and something very, very tasty. So today, we're going to do something very nice. We're going to do like what we call in French, gâteau de voyage. So it's like a cake, but that you can keep for 2-3 weeks. You don't have to store that in a fridge. But normally, like in one evening, it's over. So what do we need first? We need a mold. So you will go closer. You've got that needle heart mold. So it's of course made here inside. You fill it completely with dark chocolate. Of course, what do we have inside? We've got chocolate, but as well some hair. So we need to remove the hair bubbles on a vibrating table. And the vibrating table is helping us to get all the bubbles out. After a few seconds, of course, we don't have any spaces for the praliné, for the nuts, for anything. We will just turn the mold over. And in fact, the difference of temperature between the chocolate, which is tempered at 31 degrees Celsius, and the mold at room temperature, more or less 16, 18 degrees Celsius, you've got a difference of temperature that let us last layer of chocolate inside of the mold. Next step, of course, fridge. And after a few moments, so now we are like well prepared, like on television. So tadam, after a few minutes, you see that everything is solid and you can already demold it. Of course, this one is purple because we prepared it before with some cocoa butter, colored cocoa butter, to make it more fancy, more shiny, and more nicer. So look, that's the first filling. So that's a homemade salted caramel that we have to cool down a little bit. And we're going to do that. Of course, everything here is handmade. So all the praline that we have to fill, it's made one by one, thanks to a piping bag. So Fikry is going to fill with the first layer of that salted caramel, which is for me one of the best filling with the pistachio. So just a small one. Then we've got some crushed hazelnut from Piemonte in Italy. That we put inside to have that crunchiness, which is very important. And it smells already. You can already smell the cream and the butter of the salted caramel. So that's the first steps. Next one, we will have to use a nice praliné. So I told you before we were using hazelnut praliné, and today and now for that recipe we're going to use a walnut praliné from Périgord in France. It went just quickly to our hot room because we need to fill it. It's liquid, so it's not too hot. It's more or less 28 degree. You're going to use, of course, a piping bag to fill it. So slowly it's going to fill it. So you can see already like some texture inside because the walnuts were not totally crushed. We want to still give that nice texture inside. So it's closing the bag up. And it will put the second layer of the filling. So just after the hazelnuts. So wow, that's nice. So handmade as well. So this is a walnut praliné from Périgord. So it's a region in France that makes the best walnut. They are more tasteful, they are bigger, and we take that raw dry nut that we mix in our nice blender with some sugar, and you get that paste that we mix again with some kind of dark and milk chocolate. This is now the last one of the last step. It's the biscuit that we will have at the bottom. So that's a biscuit that we use in chocolaterie. So it's a mix of some butter cookie that we call crêpe dentelle, that we mix with some hazelnut praline and some dark chocolate. So this is the last layer. It's going to be to close that heart. So he's going to do that very carefully. So you see, so everything is again handmade. We try to give different kind of flavor that works together, different kind of texture. So you've got the crispy, something very smooth with the praline, crunchiness with the biscuit, and yeah, it's like explosion in your mouth. And of course, after we're gonna demold it, and this is the final results. So you see that after a few minutes, we go a little bit quicker, of course, today, and this is the results. So what can we do now? Of course, we're gonna pack it to give it to your loved ones. But today we're gonna show you what you have inside, so the final results. So I hope you will like that. So please, Fikry, go ahead. So look inside. So you've got the biscuits. Now we have to work and to see it at reverse. So you've got the biscuits, the praline walnuts, the hazelnuts, the salted caramel, and then the layer of chocolate. So now it's the best moment. It's the tasting. So I do that for you. So you really can see all the texture and everything. Of course, you don't have to finish it at once. And so, yeah, I go for that. Sorry. Stop. So this is amazing. I think it should be at least one reason to come to visit us in Belgium. It can be that. So even if you come for Easter, we'll have something especially for Easter, and we will find new things. But that's one you should come back. So thanks, Fikry, very much for that live demo. So of course, what you are able to see now, when you visit us, you will be able to see that as well. It's going to be part of the experience. So that's a little bit over about that. But before finishing, I wanted to give you a last thing, which is totally new. But if you can, at least at the end, give me some advice, that would be very useful for us. So I know that we are quite far away from Easter, but as chocolatier, we need to prepare that in advance to find the collection, the good texture, the good taste. So I have a little surprise. So come with me. So this is normally like a place that's totally forbidden for some safety reason and everything. But thanks to that virtual things, we can do that. So this is inside. It's our little fridge with all the recipe and the raw materials. And so you can see that some praline, you've got some ganache, everything. And this is our new collection for Easter. So to make it a little bit different from the others, we wanted to go outside of something traditional and to work on an origami Japanese style collection. So this is our nice rabbit. So I hope you can see that because we are super proud of that. And it's just milk chocolate with some gold powder on top to make some very nice aspect. And the second one is like the sister. It's our little chicken. You can see. So I hope you like that because we are thinking about should we do that? Are we more traditional? So we're still thinking about that. So yeah, if at the end you can give me some feedback, I will be super happy. So yeah, that's a little bit it. We finish in the fridge. We're gonna go back to the big room. I hope I was not too quick. You will be able to understand my English. And yeah, I know that Dustin planned for us a small Q&A at the end. So yeah, I'm totally free to answer to any of your questions. And yeah, and the most important, I hope that you've got that wish to visit us and to see a little bit deeper, and of course to taste some of our chocolate and pralines. So thank you very much for watching here, and yeah, I'm ready for your questions.
Thanks so much, Max. I do have to say, I know everyone on the webinar right now is extremely jealous of you because you just got to taste that wonderful looking chocolate. And I do apologize to everyone that we couldn't get you guys samples in advance. But Max, if you could actually, one of the biggest questions we're getting is, can people buy this in the US? Are you currently set up for that, or US, Canada, that sort of thing?
At the moment, no, because at the moment we were the only possibility to buy our chocolate was to visit us. But due to that health situation, we decided to launch a web shop. But I wanted to do that myself, and I have two daughters, like two young daughters, and working at home, it's impossible. So I started in March by building it, and now it's more or less okay, but I still have to fit to the FDA regulation and some custom things that I need to have to be able to ship to US. But I hope that soon, normally I hope by the end of June this year, I will be able to do that. So let's cross fingers for that.
Good, because I know you'll make a lot of our guests right now very happy, because they're all wondering where they can get that chocolate heart, and they want it shipped to them immediately so they could taste. Great. Well, again, thank you so much. We have a lot of other questions coming in now. We had a bunch earlier on the differences between dark chocolate and white chocolate, and like what exactly is white chocolate?
Yeah, of course. Come with me. I will show you it's easier. So in fact, it's true that we have two big families. You've got the dark one, you've got the milk, and you've got the white. In fact, it's much easier to see it like that. So first family, second one, third one. This one, so the dark one is made of cocoa mass, and cocoa mass is cocoa butter and cocoa powder. And then we had some sugar. So 3 ingredients in dark chocolate. In good dark chocolate, only 3 ingredients. Then you've got the second one, which is the milk chocolate. And milk chocolate is based on cocoa mass, so cocoa butter, cocoa powder, sugar, and milk powder. That's the ingredients. Then you've got the last one, which is the white chocolates. Some people in Belgium and in France say it's not real chocolate and blah, blah, blah. But mine is real white chocolate, because inside of that small pieces, you've got something missing, is the cocoa powder. So in fact, inside you only have the fat part of the cocoa pot. It's the cocoa butter. So inside of white chocolates, cocoa butter, sugar, milk powder. So only fat things. But this one contains only cocoa butter. So you have that cocoa taste.
Got it. Interesting. Thank you for that. That's very helpful. I didn't know that either. So only a couple ingredients per each. Okay. What exactly is cocoa butter, Max? We got that question a lot.
Yeah. So I will stay there. I will just move. Up. So in fact, you've got the beans. This is a dry beans. This one, as a specialist from Vietnam. If you take that and that you squeeze very hardly, not with my hands, but with big hydraulic machines, you've got 2 things. So if you squeeze it very quick, but it's going to be complicated, you've got that little nips. And in fact, you've got 2 ingredients in that one that you can only have thanks to a more industrial machine. It's the cocoa fat, so it's going to be liquid like butter, like oil, and the powder, the solid part, which is the cocoa powder. So you can see here. So inside of the small beans that I just crushed, you've got the solid part, brown color, and the cocoa butter. That's why white chocolate is white, because you don't have the color of the powder.
Great. Thanks, Max. This was an interesting question I think would be helpful for a lot of people. Do all of the chocolatiers in Belgium use the same sort of process or recipe? In order to be called Belgian chocolate, is there a standard or is that just because it's from Belgium?
Yeah, in fact, in Belgium, we are not proud enough of our gastronomic thing. So there is not very specific regulation, but at least between us, like all the professionals, we decided that when you talk about Belgian chocolate, it should only contain the cocoa butter. But in Europe, there is like a law that enables us and industrial to remove the part of this and to replace it with other kind of fat, because this is the most expensive part in chocolate. It's quite expensive. And of course, when you are a big company that use tons and tons of cocoa, if you only replace 5% with palm oil or karité oil or other kind of fats, you reduce a lot and you improve your margin, your benefit. But in Belgium, to be totally honest, I don't know any company that do that. And of course, to call it Belgian chocolate, you need at least, I think, 70 or 80% of the whole process should be done in Belgium. So I know that for big, well-known Belgian brands, they do everything here, but for the packaging, they do in other kind of countries because the labor is like cheaper. But you should really look and take care about the content. So when you buy chocolates, you should, when you buy a bar like this, you should read at the back the ingredients. So if you have too many ingredients, bad sign. So the less, the best. For example, in that one, I take, for example, the example of the Vietnam. In the Vietnam, you have sugar, cocoa butter, cocoa mass, milk powder. That's it. So nothing else. So yeah, I hope the answer was clear.
Yeah, yes, it's a very, very robust answer there. So less ingredients should mean the better quality, kind of higher Belgian.
Normally, yeah, and it's the same for everything, but that's my point of view.
Okay. We got a couple questions here about storage of chocolate. So what's the best way to store a chocolate bar or any type of chocolate? Do you put it in the refrigerator? Can you put it in the freezer? Or like how to help it not age too quickly?
Yeah. The best place, to be totally honest, is here. That's the best place to store it. So the quick, that's the best. But of course, if you don't want to heat a big chocolate bar in one day, it's to, inside of chocolate, you've got cocoa butter. And the fat likes other kind of smell. So you should always protect your chocolate with alu foil or nice Tupperware box, always really closed. The best places is a place without any lights, without direct sun, not too much humidity. Humidity should be 60–70% maximum, and not too cool. So if you put that in the fridge because it's too hot, for example, some countries, they have no choice. Always try to make it with first the alu foil in a nice Tupperware box, because if you have next to that a nice French camembert, then due to the fat in the chocolate, after only 2–3 days, you will smell and you will taste the camembert in the chocolate because it's take all the flavors around him. So it's very important to protect that from very strong other kind of products. So normally the best places, it should be, if you have a wine cellar, that's a very good places. If you have a big fridge and you've got something from vegetables, normally there it's less cool, so you can put that, but always with the foil and everything. And normally you should not have too much problem. But you can have two reactions on chocolate. You can have that white layer on top, and this is due to a fat blooming. So in fact, it's a difference of temperature. For example, today it's 10 degrees, tomorrow it's going to be 40 and that kind of things. You've got too many variation. Then you've got all the fat of the chocolate who is going to come above the tablet. So it's not very beautiful, but you can still eat it. There is no problem. And the second one, if you put your chocolate inside of the fridge just like that, you have too much humidity, and then you've got the sugar that comes up, and that's what we call sugar bloom. So it's not very beautiful to see, to offer, but you can eat it. There is no problem about that. And especially dark chocolate, normally you will be able to keep that for more than 1 year. It's only when you use butter, cream, eggs, and the kind of things that you should really look at the label for the shelf life. But otherwise, you should just store it properly.
Good. Well, now we know how. Thanks, Max. Do you make any sugar-free or caffeine-free chocolate at all? And or what are the I guess pros and cons of that? Yes, I guess no, the cons.
Here in Belgium, it's quite as well like it's like rules to really take care about all the allergy, especially nuts, peanuts, eggs, soya, and that kind of thing. So we really take care about that. So on all packages, you've got that that mention. And regarding, of course, here in Belgium, my dark chocolate is vegan because you don't have any traces of milk. But when you talk about other kind of like sugar-free, for example, then we have to work with a substitute, and we work sometimes with some emulsifier like maltitol, or in Belgium you've got one new things which made with chicory. It's called Zusto. But at the moment we are making some tests. But at the moment we don't have. But normally by Easter we will have at least one praline sugar-free, one tablet sugar-free, and we are looking to have some other kind of things. But all the dark chocolate we have in the shop is gluten-free, nut-free, and that kind of things. But regarding milk sugar, at the moment we don't have, like today. But Easter normally at least we should have 2-3 products.
Got it. Okay, cool. One more question for you, Max, and then I'll kind of ask you a couple about yourself, if that's okay. We had some people interested in your career. What gives the chocolate that kind of waxy look, that kind of shiny look?
This is thanks to what we call crystallization. So in fact, when we've got the small drops you saw at the end of the video, and is the 3 kind of chocolate you saw before, we will put that into a melting machine. It can be a bain-marie at home. You can use the microwave. In fact, when you melt the chocolate, you have to melt it, and I'm sorry for that thing because I used degrees Celsius, but you have to melt your chocolate at 45, 50 degrees Celsius, because inside of the chocolate, you've got some beta crystals inside of the chocolate. And it's exactly the same with water. When you've got water, it's totally liquid when you have 5 degrees. And when you go under 0 degrees, so I don't know, Fahrenheit, I think it's 13 or 14, something like that, it becomes solid because you've got some new crystals that comes from liquid to solid. And with chocolate, it's exactly the same. We melt it at 45, 50 degrees. And then when we reach 31, 30 degrees Celsius, you've got the good beta crystals, we call it beta, that comes working. And then we will be able to, after a time in the fridge, to get something solid. We will be able to demold it, and it's going to be shiny. If your chocolate is not shiny, it was not pretty well processed. It doesn't mean your chocolate is bad, but it was not really well manufactured.
Got it. Thanks, Max. And do you mind going back quickly to the sugar-free one? Are there any caffeine-free chocolates? Do you make any of those, or how does that work?
The thing is that we never had caffeine or the kind of things, but in the cocoa, you can find inside, like it's naturally, you can find some caffeine. But if you find more that in the cocoa powder. So if you take, for example, white chocolate, inside of that, you don't have any traces of caffeine.
Got it. Okay, good. Good to know. I didn't know that. Thanks, Max. Okay, now we'll wrap up. I want to ask you a couple questions about yourself. People were interested in your background, how you got started as a chocolatier, and where you went to school and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
If you mind giving us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, of course. So I'm born in Belgium. I've got a father which is an entrepreneur. So since like we were kids, we were always listening about new companies, new projects, and it was always something. It was always different with my father. So I think since young we were quite interested by creating our own projects. So I started first by studying international trade in Brussels. I did some Erasmus program. So it's when you are able to travel to study abroad. So I decided to move to Budapest in Hungary. I did some like specific business training in Madrid in Spain, and then I came back at home, and I say, oh, what I want to do, and I was very interested in all the hospitality contact and management. So I did a Swiss school, but in Spain, and I did several internship in Shanghai, in China. I did in London, UK, a little bit in Ireland. So a different kind of experience. And when I started working, I started back in Brussels. After just a few months, the previous owner of that chocolate place, which is a friend of my father, contacted me because he wanted to have a commercial to help him. We started working together. First was all administrative, commercial, and then I came back home and I say, okay, I think it's a company I want to get more involved because I have so many ideas and so many things that I want to really to help that team. So first it was a bit complicated because it was a big difference of generation and people with a lot of habits, and to change the habits was quite complicated. So it took me several years to do that. But yeah, I think I started here 11 years ago and I bought the company 6 or 7 years ago. And now it's like, I'm totally passionate about that. I'm reading all books about chocolate. I'm having a lot of training, especially with the chef. So the chef you just saw before, she's a real master. So he's just controlling everything. He knows everything about physical, chemicals, things about all our raw products. And he's teaching me a lot. But to be totally honest, at the moment, I work more with the administrative, commercial, people contacts in the shop. I help him as well, some part to have some creation about the new Easter collection, about Christmas and that kind of things. So now I'm 100% involved in the company since 7 years. So it's my daily routine, more or less every day, except Sunday, sometimes to play with my kids.
Great, thank you, Max. I appreciate that. And last one for you. Do you have a favorite chocolate? Or
my
a favorite
chocolate
that you make?
It depends what kind of chocolate. So my favorite mix with fruit, it's candied ginger. So it's a real ginger root that we cook in sugar. So you lose a little bit that spiciness. It's become more soft with dark chocolate, and the mix for me with candied ginger and dark chocolate is, wow, unbelievable. Then you've got the tablets, so plain chocolate. My favorite one at the moment, it's a mix that the chef created. It's a mix from Colombia, Ivory Coast, and Uganda. And it's a mix of 90%. So it's 90% of the cocoa content and 10% of sugar. It's super strong. It's very healthy. You've got some astringents. You've got some bitterness. It's super mixed. And I'm on a diet, so less sugar, the best is for me. And I think for pralines, so when it's filled, I think it's a pistachio paste from Sicilia. So it's a real Sicilian pistachio that we mix with sugar. I think the recipe is a little bit with white chocolate, milk chocolate, and in a shelf of dark chocolate. And this is the 3 chocolate that I can eat and eat and eat without stopping.
Wow, Max, that's a lot of favorites, and that's I think even getting our taste buds even more crazy right now. But Max, I do really want to thank you for your time today. We really appreciate it. This was a really, really wonderful tour. It really gave us an inside look at your shop and you and your career. To learn more about Tauck River Cruises, you can always visit us on Tauck.com. As Michelle mentioned in the beginning, we visit Max's shop on 2 of our river cruises, Holland and Belgium in spring, which will be on for 2022, and then our Christmas market cruise, Yuletide Spirit, Brussels, which will be this December. So we do record all these webinars. So if you missed today, or you want to rewatch it, or you want to show someone else, please visit our blog page, The Taucker, at tauck.com/blog. And if you'd like to learn more about Max, his team, his chocolate, you can also visit his website there. And last thing for me before we part is our 2021 brochures are now available. You can download those online for e-viewing, or you can request a printed version. So feel free to do that if you so choose. And we are so looking forward to seeing you down the road, hopefully this year, most definitely next year. And thank you again for your time, and hope you all have a nice day. Bye-bye. Thanks, Max.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.